From downtown Scranton, this is Northeast Current. WQPX invites you to join us as we explore public affairs, current events, and arts and culture in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Now let's meet today's guests on Northeast Current.
Welcome into Northeast Current on the ION Network. I'm Holly Golembeski, and we're going to be talking about something today that is prevalent in just about every school, bullying. Why does it happen? Is there certain kids, teens, younger children that it happens to? We're going to talk to a lot of children today about their experiences with bullying. What should be done by the school? Who should be held accountable? Should the parents be held accountable of the children that are bullying? Should the school be held accountable? Should the teens themselves or the younger children themselves be held accountable? We're going to talk about that all today on Northeast Current. With me right now is Dave Williams. He actually is piloting a wonderful program that is called Students United. And we're going to be talking about the program in a little bit, but could you just give us a definition of bullying?
Bullying. Well, bullying to the victim would probably mean anything that person doesn't want pushed on them. Let's say a simple thing like walking down the hallway trying to get to class, somebody's tripping you, that's bullying. Anything that would interfere in somebody else's space or even their mindset. You know, you could make somebody upset. You know, you don't have to hit somebody to be bullied.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, I've read of cases, and I know of local cases that children have committed suicide.
Yes.
The cyberbullying case that is going to trial, the cyberbullying being on the internet, and the girl just committed suicide. She had too much of it, and who's going to be held accountable? It's going to be interesting to see how that case goes. But the schools themselves have zero tolerance policies, and that's the best policy to have. But it's hard in a school of hundreds of children to see every instance of bullying actually occur. A lot of instances, they're not even reported. A lot of the kids that are bullied are embarrassed, and they won't tell anybody. And that's where it becomes a problem, because they hold it inside. And thinking about it, especially when you're a younger child, a teenager, you're in school, and you have your peers around you all the time, it's a very difficult thing to deal with. And, you know, I think we were talking before the show, it used to be a teasing thing, but it just seems like in the past maybe 15, 20 years, it's gone beyond.
Yeah, well, it's definitely grown. And one of the big factors, Holly, is the problem years ago. I mean, when a kid was bullied in school, you got out of school, you went home, it was over with. You had the rest of the day for yourself and that. Today, between the internet and cell phones, the kids don't get a break. You know, if they're bullied in school, the same kids that are bullying them in school, they're sending them the texts, they're going on Facebook and all these other programs online, and they're embarrassing these kids or they're threatening them. It doesn't end at school anymore. It's 24/7 because of the internet.
Yeah, and social networking definitely has a lot to do with that.
So it has grown. Yeah, there's quite a bit more cases now. And it goes a lot further. There's kids killing themselves. There's other kids going into school who were bullied. Maybe they decided they had enough, and they go in with a weapon. There's shootings all the time. You can't blame the gun. I mean, I don't know if you want to get political, if you want to cross that one out, but it's really up to the students and the kids, and that's where my program comes in, because this allows the kids to have somewhat control and maybe intervene where they wouldn't have before. I'm trying to bring an awareness to the students to realize, hey, when you see a bullying program or bullying problem, somebody's being bullied, you're not going to walk by. Maybe you'll stop now and say, hey, leave the kid alone. I know him, he's a good kid, or you don't need to do that, you know. And if they give you a problem, have the courage and the understanding to say, well, I'm going to report you. If you're not going to stop, it's going to stop somehow, and we'd like to get you to stop on our own. That's what we want the students to do, join together, strengthen numbers, and just show the people that are causing these problems that it's not going to be tolerated anymore.
Well, we're going to talk in a little bit about why you started the program and the sheer number of students you have. A lot of them are here, and there's a lot of students, and it's great because it's a diverse group. You have all ages, you have all races, you have all, it's great. It's a wonderful program, and we're going to be talking about that in detail in just a little bit. But we have a couple students that are actually willing to tell their stories. So, want to start? All right, what's your name?
Sela.
And do you want to say where you go to school?
Pittston area.
All right. Oh, go Patriots. I live in the Pittston area school district.
Master Kovalevsky's Karate USA.
All right. And what is your story? And just know by telling it, you're helping someone else.
Well, to start, wasn't just in school, it was at home. I got cyberbullied a lot, and I was afraid to face people outside of school because they were embarrassing me online. And I was like so scared to face them at school, afraid they would embarrass me more. And that's what happened. They would embarrass me in school, and I would go home and it would get worse online. This was in 5th grade, and people would curse at me, call me names. I was just afraid of them. I didn't know what to do. And that's when I started martial arts, and I got self-confidence in myself. And the next year, the bullies, I stood up to them, and they left me alone.
What was different that time when you stood up to them? What changed?
My words. I wasn't afraid to speak to them anymore. I wasn't afraid to tell other people about what was going on.
Mm-hmm. And when it was happening before you stood up to the bullies, did you tell anybody at home or at school, a teacher, your mom, dad, anybody?
The teachers didn't really help. I told my mom, and the principal kind of got rid of the situation for a short time, but the thing was they held the race against me. They were like, oh, that's not true. She's just being racist.
And you know what? That is a reality.
Yes.
You know, when you're talking about race, you know, just like she said, it's the reality, and it's a shame. But that's just what happens today, right?
Yeah, people have to realize that everybody is on this planet. Whatever they are, they still believe the same, they feel the same,
Right.
they hurt the same, they love the same, they laugh the same.
Mm-hmm.
People have to get over that. You have to get on it. And as you can see, there's plenty of different cultures here.
Yeah,
There's not
and
one or two, there's more.
We have
There's
Boy
many.
Scouts and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. We try to involve as many groups and as many people, especially low housing. I go to low housing because a lot of the kids in school that have problems, a lot of them do come from low housing. You know, they don't have maybe the resources, you know, available to them. So I try to bring it to them. And the groups that I see are very cooperative, understanding. They know the program. We've gone over it. It's a physical program. We do demonstrations. And it's not limited to any one person and creed or color. Not at all.
So what would you say to someone who's being bullied and is watching the program and heard your story? What would you say to them if they're scared?
For advice to people
Yeah.
that are getting bullied?
Yep.
Don't be afraid to stand up to them. They just want to get to you. Don't let it bother you. Don't be afraid to tell people. Don't keep it in. Tell people. It really helps. It does. Get confidence in yourself. Stand up to them.
Perfect. Perfect. Love it. Awesome. Very well said. Very well said. That was an incredible story.
Thank you.
But the thing is, why does it happen? Why? Does it start at home, do you think?
Sometimes. I mean, you can't blame home on everything. Between what kids watch on TV, maybe some music they listen to.
Peer pressure.
I don't like to blame media because everyone does have their own choices to make in life. And that's what I try to stress with these kids is you have your own choice to make. You're either going to watch it or you're going to help out. And yeah, a lot of it does start at home, If they don't have the proper guidance, I mean, it's tough today, especially with the way things are with the economy. Parents don't have a lot of time for things. Maybe they're trying to work 2 jobs, and the kid doesn't have the support. That's nothing that can be helped. But so help is there. You know, it's a phone call away. You know, we try to get involved with as many kids. It starts at home sometimes, but when it gets in a situation where you have a kid in school who's going around picking on certain kids and they're let alone to do that, they're not told to stop, then it's going to continue because they can get away with it, especially if they're maybe the track star, cheerleader, you know, so forth. You know, they feel they have more rights or whatever because they're a star student.
Right, right.
Some kids feel that, and they feel they're better than others. You know, nobody's better than anyone, and that's what we're trying to push across, the reality.
Bullying does not discriminate.
No,
it happens to everybody.
Rich, poor.
No matter, right. It happens to every type of race. Right, right.
Absolutely.
Child,
There's
adult.
a lot of adults. I get kids that there's adults giving them problems.
Well, and that's sad.
Yes, it
That's
is.
really sad because they're supposed to be the examples.
Yes, they are.
I was a teacher for 10 years, and I had students that were younger, and then I was in a high school for 8 years. And you see it everywhere. You see it to different degrees. But one of the worst things as a teacher to experience is that child. And it's young kids, it's also the teenagers, being
the
bullied.
younger ones are tougher.
Oh, it is tough. When you have someone come to you and cry
Yes.
and see the hurt in their face. I always told my kids that, you know, be careful of what you say. Think about it, because it's going to affect other people when it comes out. And once it's out, you can't put it back in. And those words, they hear them and they think about them and think about them. And then they're in that rut where they're thinking about them so much that it really starts breaking them down emotionally. And I mean, some extreme cases we had already talked about. You have a story as well. Do you want to tell us your name?
This is George.
My name's Jason, and I personally wasn't bullied, but a kid. I was down hanging out with my friends, and I didn't know the kid at the time, but another kid was bullying him, and he threw his bike in the woods when he had to go home, and when the kid found it in the woods, the tires were popped, and I confronted the kid who put the bike in the woods, and I asked him to go get the kid a new tire or fill it up or whatever he had to do over at the gas station a street away. And he acted like he had nothing to do with it, when his friends even agreed that he was the one who did it, and he just kept ignoring me and just saying he had nothing to do with it. And then he got in my face and started mouthing off to me, and he was like right in my face, and I just moved him back, and he kept cursing at me, and he was like, he just kept cursing and asking me, what am I going to do about it, what am I going to do about it? And then I round kicked him in the head, not hard, and I just tapped him, and what he did, he walked away, and he called his brother and had his brother come, asked his brother to come with his friends to come beat me up because I stuck up for the other kid. And eventually, his brother never came, but eventually I left, and after that I heard that the bully threw the other kid's bike in the river after I left.
Wow.
What happened after that? Do you know?
I got a call from the kid's mom that same night saying she was telling me thank you for sticking up for my son, and the kid's brothers I know the kid's brothers, and they were saying thank you for whoever was sticking up for him. They didn't know it was me, but they said thank you for whoever did it, and so far I didn't hear of him bullying him anymore.
Hopefully he learned a valuable lesson.
I hope so.
And kudos. Where do you go to school?
A lot of kids don't realize who they're up against. Now, that kid obviously didn't realize that this young gentleman here is a third-degree black belt.
I don't want to say anything to him that'll tick him off.
He's the school's highest-ranking black belt.
Wow,
And the
good
kid
for
should be
you.
thankful that martial arts put in his heart the discipline and respect not to hurt the other kid.